It's all about IPO. So today's course is meaning of IPO, why companies come up with IPO, elements of IPO, role of underwriters in IPO, and significance of IPO for investors. So this is me. I am Manisha Sharma. I have 4 years of experience in corporate stock market broking and 5 years of online tutoring experience. Before that, I have done my PGDM in finance and marketing. Hello friends, today we will be talking about IPO, initial public offering. So an initial public offering is the process of issuing shares of a private company to the public in the form of new stock issuance. IPO allows a company to raise funds from public. Yeah, so here are key points. An IPO, we have already discussed initial public offering. Companies must fulfill the requirements by Exchange and the Security Exchange Board of India, that is SEBI, to come up with IPO. IPO provides companies with an opportunity to get capital by issuing shares through IPO in the primary market. So when companies come up with IPO, they do it in the primary market. And after the share is listed, it is traded in the secondary market. For this, companies hire investment banks to analyze demand of companies' shares in the market. They set the IPO price, lot size, date of issuance, etc. An IPO is an exit strategy for the company's founders and early investors. Because after the company's shares is listed, there will be more shareholders in the company. Yes. So why do companies issue IPO? Why do companies come up with the IPO, initial public offering? So the answer is for raising capital. Yes, for raising the funds, because there are 3-4 alternatives through which companies can raise funds. Either company can take loan from bank, but that is the liability, that is the obligation. So companies can take the loan from bank to some extent only. Okay, after that, when company needs more funds for growth and expansion purpose, companies come up with IPO, initial public offering, in which they issue the shares to the general public like me and you, and they raise funds from the market. So for raising capital, this is first and foremost importance of IPO. Liquidity for private equity investors. Yes, it is the liquidity, whatever investors in there in the private company, for liquidity purpose, they come up with IPO. Liquidity for employees. Yes, employees in the private companies, they get more liquidity, more benefits, more employee benefits when companies come up with IPO. Currency for mergers and acquisition. Yes, when companies come up with IPO, they get more funds, more capital, so they can go for merger and acquisitions later on. Branding and visibility means companies' brand value increases in the market, companies' visibility increases in the market, because earlier company was just a private company, but now it is going to be a public company. So it will be more visible in the market and more people will know about the company. So to increase branding and visibility, companies come up with IPO. Yes. Now, how an IPO is priced? So there are certain parameters on the basis of which we come to know then how an IPO is priced. So first and foremost is demand. Demand is a very necessary and very basic element for anything. If a company's share has a strong demand in the market, if company's product and services are there in the market, are in demand, so but it does not mean that company is more valuable. Analysts analyze demand for company's product or services in the market. In the process of IPO, analyst determines the fair value of company's share. What is the fair value? Fair value means the intrinsic value, the actual value of the company's share. Yes. Second is growth. An IPO valuation depends on the future growth of the company. IPO is launched to raise the funds for future growth, expansion. Investors invest into the IPO of the companies that have higher growth projections and higher growth potential. So investors mostly invest into the companies that have higher growth projections in the future and higher cash flows. Industry, like there are many industry in India. In the process of analyzing IPO, existing players or competitors are also taken into consideration. Competitors, like if a company is coming up with IPO, how many competitors it is facing in that particular industry. So company is compared with the peers in the same industry, because investors will be willing to pay a similar amount or a bit premium price for a new entrant into the industry, as they are currently paying for existing companies. Okay, so if a private company that is coming up with the IPO, if it is really doing very good, then investors may pay a premium price for that. Yeah. Corporate narratives. Corporate narratives means corporate actions. So in considering the IPO, initial public offering, quantitative as well as qualitative factors are important to value a company. So when we talk about quantitative factors, we know the profit figures, the turnover, the cash flows. Okay, these are the quantitative figures in numbers. While there are qualitative factors also, like the brand image. Qualitative factors include company's brand image in the market, customers' loyalty and satisfaction. There are many corporate actions that derive company's growth. Corporate actions means mergers and acquisitions, company's growth and valuation, new business model, dividend policy, shareholders' wealth maximization. Because there are two concepts, profit maximization and wealth maximization. Profit maximization is the traditional and old concept. Now, shareholders or investors see the shareholders' wealth maximization. So the companies that have good dividend policy and shareholders' wealth maximization thing in them, investors invest in that company that have more shareholders' wealth maximization strategies and good dividend policy, because dividend is distributed to shareholders. Yes, now IPO lot size. Lot size. What is the lot size? Lot size is the basket of shares. Okay, when you are investing into a particular company, you are buying one stock, two stock. No, it's not like that. It is the total lot size. It is the basket of stocks, means one lot contains 10 shares, 15 shares, 20 shares, 30, 50 shares, 100 shares, like that. So as per SEBI, the minimum application amount which cannot exceed rupees 15,000 and should not fall below rupees 10,000 for retail investors. So retail investors can apply for minimum one lot that cost around 15,000 maximum. It can be 14,900, 14,500, like that. Mostly in IPOs, if you apply for one lot, it is mostly 14,500, 14,900, like that, but below 15,000. Yes, that is called IPO lot size. Now underwriters. Underwriters. Underwriters are the most important people, or you can say the investment bankers, when it comes to IPO. Underwriters are very important in financial sector. They are associated with mortgage industry, insurance industry, equity market, etc. They charge fees or commission. Investment bankers work as underwriters. So underwriters are nobody but the investment bankers. What are those investment bankers? It is very well known, such as Citibank, ICICI Bank, Axis Bank, JP Morgan, HSBC, uh, like that, etc. Now, IPO underwriters are financial specialists who take care of whole process of initial public offering. They work closely with the issuing company. They determine the initial offering price of the securities, buy the securities from the issuer, means they buy the shares. Securities means shares, stocks. They buy the shares from the issuer. Issuer means the issuing company that is coming up with IPO. They buy the shares from the issuing company and sell those shares to investors, to the public via underwriters distribution network. So they take care of whole process. IPO underwriters are typically investment banks that we already talked. These investment banks work with the issuing company closely to ensure that all regulatory requirements are satisfied. All there are legal proceedings and regulatory requirements, laws of SEBI and RBI. So everything is taken care of by underwriters. The underwriters contact financial institutions such as mutual funds, insurance companies, or the big banks to know the investment interest into that particular company. They want to know the feedback of that company that is coming up with the IPO from mutual funds and insurance companies, because mutual funds and insurance companies invest into the companies. Mutual funds and insurance companies, they are the institutional investors. So the feedback received by these large institutional investors help an underwriter setting up the IPO price of the company's stock. Yes. Now, what is price band? Price band. A price band is a value setting method in which a seller indicates an upper and lower cost limit. Between that, buyers are able to place the bids. It is the price band. Price band means the range of the price of the IPO, like between 50 to 55, 65 to 70, like that. Understanding price bands. Yes. Understanding price bands. Price band is a value setting method, as I told you, in which a seller indicates an upper and lower limit of where buyers are able to place the bid. It is nothing but the range. So a lower range and a upper range. Okay, it is like 50 to 60, 55 to 60. So IPO price band is that, and the actual price will lie between that lower and upper limit. Yes. So the process, the underwriters analyze factors such as growth forecast, industry forecast, like how industry will do, how company will do in the future, and economy as whole. It is called fundamental analysis. Means they see top to bottom and bottom to top. Means they take care of industry analysis, whole economy analysis, and then the company. And company, in which industry the company is lying, whether it is from banking industry or IT industry or maybe FMCG industry, fast moving consumer goods, or pharma industry, and then see the factors that are affecting the company's earning. So they forecast about the company, industry, and economy, the firm's net worth, earning per share, and many other aspects of the company to determine a range of prices that the security can trade for. Security means share. The price range the issuer and underwriter agree upon is referred to as the price band. So price band means the price range. The bottom band is the lower limit and the top band is known as the upper limit. This is a book building process. So this is very important in IPO, the book building process. Yes. So an IPO open for a certain time period. It opens for a certain time period, like for 3-4 days. After that, applications are not accepted. So an IPO opens, for example, on 4th of January, it opens and closes by 8th of January. It is like that. In between, we can apply for the IPO. After that, after closing date, we cannot apply. So this is an example of a price band. If you can see, yes. So as an example of how underwriters use the price band to build the books. So imagine a company wants to issue 10,000 shares in its IPO and the price band is set at 85 to 90. This is the price band, the price limit. So 85 is the lower limit and 92 is the upper limit. This is the price band between 85 to 92. And how many shares the company wants to issue is 10,000 shares. The bids that are received from investors are above in the table. So these are the bids that are being received. See, these are the shares that company is issuing only 10,000 shares, while it has got the bid for 19,500 shares. It has got application for 19,500 shares. So when company is issuing 10,000 shares and it is getting applications of 19,500 shares, it does a pro rata base allotment. Pro rata base means a person, for example me, if I have applied for 4 lots, I will get only 1 lot. If, for example, my friend, she applied for 3 lots, she will be getting 1 lot. Or somebody applied for 10 lots, he will be getting 3 or 4 lots. This is called pro rata base allotment. Means each and every person should get 1 lot, minimum 1 lot of shares. This is called pro rata base allotment. It is done in the IPO. So here if you see, the highest price at which the company is able to sell its issue is 89. And this price is set as the cutoff price. So 89 is the cutoff price if you see. All bidders below 89 on the price band will be rejected and they will get their money refunded. Okay, so people, the investors who have applied for 89 or more than 89, they will get the shares in the IPO, and below 89 they will get their refund back and won't be allotted any shares. So bidders who submitted price at 89 or more will receive shares for 89. Okay, so this is how the IPO works. So for example, recently Burger King IPO came. I invested into that Burger King IPO. It came up, I think in the December it came, 4th December or 3rd December. It came up with the price band of 59 to 60 shares. 59 to 60. But so I applied for one lot and I got, and when it was listed on 16 December, it was listed at 115 rupees. So it was a premium listing. So you can see the listing gains. You can see the listing gains because I was allotted the shares at 60 rupees and it was listed at 115. So you can see the return. It is huge. So Burger King gave very good listing returns and it was a premium listing. Why I call it as premium listing? Because the current the IPO price band was 59 to 60, but the listing price was 115, so it was at premium. If it would have been at 35 or 40 rupees the listing price, then it would have been at discount. So this is discount and premium listing. So we know the benefits of IPO investing. So there are a lot of benefits in IPO, investing in IPO. As I told you, the listing gains, you can get the listing gains for short term and for long term also. If you want short term gains, you can get it like if you apply for one lot of IPO and as soon as it gets listed, you can sell it, then you will be getting profit. The difference of your selling and buying will be your profit. That is listing gain. Early access, yeah, if you are investing into an IPO, you are getting into the company, you are entering into the company, you are becoming a shareholder of the company. So if you are applying for the IPO, you are buying the shares of the company and you are giving your hard-earned money to company. So in company, you will be called as shareholder and you will be getting voting rights and dividend rights. Like you will be getting dividend out of company's profit and you will be also getting voting rights in company's AGM, annual general meeting. Yes, so long-term goals means if you invest into the IPO, you can have the shares, you can keep the share for long term and you can fulfill your long-term goals. Whenever you need money, you can just sell the shares. It's like that. Price transparency you get when you invest into the IPO. Everything is in front of you. Lot size is there, price band is there, so you can very well see what is the fair value of the company. You can invest into that. So price transparency is there because actual fair value is in front of you that underwriters have derived. Buy cheap, earn big. As I just told you about Burger King IPO, if you invest into the IPO, sometimes you get the IPO, the price is very less, like the fair value is less. But when it gets listed in the market, you get the listing returns. So as I got Burger King IPO at 60 rupees, I got Burger King shares at 60 rupees, but I sold it at 120 because it was listed at 115. I sold it at 120, so it is just doubled. So I am buying at cheaper price and earning higher returns. So IPO is very good investment. Most popular IPO for 2020, we can see Happiest Minds. Yes, it was very good. Happiest Minds, it is the Bangalore based company, IT company. So there are other IPOs also, Rote Mobile, Rosari Biotech, Burger King, and Mrs. Vectors. So in these IPOs, I invested into Happiest Minds and Burger King, and it gave me really very good return. Yes, so that's all from my side. Thank you very much. And I suggest you IPO. I recommend the IPO. You should invest in the IPO. But before that, you should analyze the company. Thank you.